CPI, baby. Let's go. There we go. Yes sir, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's the CPI. Hope you guys are ready for some inflation data. It's that moment in time. Hope you guys are doing well. Looking forward to see you, man. We're going to talk about gold indeed. We're going to see what's going to happen today. We're at a crucial level. Crucial level, man. Damn. Let's see what we have with us today here. Let's speed up the process. We have 12 minutes. 12 minutes should be more than enough time here. Let's talk about it, G's. Samuel, my man, good to see you. Ben, shout out to you, my friend. Ericas. Maria Gonzalez, Gavin Dentes, let's go. Ido Rednick, Larpy, Mohammed says up. Venny says W. Sia says hello, everyone. Fabian says what's up, G. Jolene, good to see you. Welcome back. Lo-Fi, hello, G. OT David says the GOAT is here. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Vibes music. Woo! Woohoo! Okay. CPI, baby. Yeah. Yeah, man. Let's talk about this shit. All right. Let's talk about it, because gold has been, of course, in that range after the Monday pump. The Monday pump, the Tuesday range before the news on a Wednesday. The CPI data is coming out very, very soon, ladies and I hope you guys are ready for some action. Okay. Massive manipulation, question mark. We're going to talk about it. Okay. We are going to talk about it. So yes, let's kick it off. Let me know if you guys are ready. If you guys are ready, press a 1 in the chat, please. And make sure you smash up that like button. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button as well. Let's get the party started. Our journey to the 100,000 subscribers on YouTube from just streaming is almost there. Mission completed, I would say. Okay? Hard work, man. Hard work. Let's talk about it, man. So number one, yeah, inflation data, CPI. We have been waiting for this one this week. Most important data of the week. Obviously, right now, right? The core PCE and the CPI, all right? Not PCE, CPI, all right? Look at the British pound though, number one, 2.2%. Came out lower than expected, right? British pound came out lower than expected. The British pound made that move to the downside when that happened here. The British pound tanked when the CPI came out here. It's making a small recovery, all right? But it tanked when when the CPI came out lower. Question is, what is the dollar gonna do, ladies and gentlemen? Is the dollar gonna bounce? Is the dollar gonna continue its momentum up? We have been coming already down since the 30th of July. It has been one big push to the downside. Same for the 10-year yield. From the 1st of July, we have been coming down and down and down and down and down. Question is it time for a bounce? Is it time for a reversal? Is that what's going to happen here? We're going to find out. Okay, let's start off on the weekly time frame. Number one for gold right now. Look at where we are. We are always at critical resistance, man. We flipped that initial weekly resistance into that support. we start breaking out right here. You guys can see that we have been holding above it here, but it is at a very, very, very tricky level. Okay, you can see now that the high is set at 24.83 on the weekly time frame. That's that exact key level that we have to break, right? That's what they want to do. They want to probably break it. If the dollar is going to reverse and if the dollar is going to be bullish, we will not know if the dollar is going to be bullish, if the dollar is going to be bearish. The dollar has been coming down already for a month or so. Do take consideration that if we come out bullish, of course, gold will, reverse here in that resistance as well. On the futures chart right here, you can see that this is the high, right? 25.22 on the futures chart. Also very important. Let's put on a different track real quick. Let's see what we can do. There we go. Yeah, you can see that the 25.22 is the high on the gold chart right here, right now. We have been in that range. We have been coming up so aggressively already. So you have to understand that the moment we are starting to push up, let's say, a lot of buy stops in particular, will get activated. And if you want to know what I'm talking about specifically, then look at this thing right here. This is the book map, right? You can just find it on YouTube as well. You can buy it yourself, whatever you want to do here. But we're looking specifically at gold now, and we're looking at the 25.20. All right, the 25.20 is where you see a lot of these buy stops placed. Same for the 25.18 right now, right? 8 minutes for the CPI. A lot of these buy stops are getting actually activated, or sell limits. We don't really know if it's sell limits or if it's buy stops, but I mean, in essence, a lot of liquidity is getting built up, especially to the upside. So even if price on the weekly time frame, right, decides to roll over, right, come back down towards that gap, because that's what we did last week, right? We came up, we closed aggressively, this next candle came down, we started to fill up that gap partially. You can still see that we have a small gap sitting around this area between the 23.41 and the 23.48. If price decides to come down here, okay, and this is kind of important, because if we're now taking this to the daily time frame, you can see that this is that major resistance that we are unable to break. On the 4 hour, it's even more obvious. The resistance that we're looking for right now, you can see that this is the high, and we're hovering around this, right? The actual resistance at 24.75 is where we are now getting rejected from. So do think that take that into consideration. Let's say your price comes up and our idea is to bring it down, okay? Then obviously these buy stops is what they want to trigger, right? They want to go for the buy stops first before price could potentially shoot down here. That's what makes it extremely tricky to trade the CPI at the moment. And the reason why is because let's imagine that you want to take a sell here, right? There is a big chance that price just comes up first. It takes out, it triggers the buy stops, and then it reverses. The question then is, do you really want to take a sell limit right when the highs are getting taken out? And if so, where is your stop loss going to be, right? This is going to be number one. You have to put a major stop loss. There is nothing to refer back to. So you're trading at an all-time high, right? You have that buy stop potentially getting activated. That's the idea. Price potentially come over because, the weekly candle is not that fancy. There are many instances where you manipulate the highs and the weekly candle flips bearish. We have seen it so many times happening during the news when that occurs here, okay? Price could easily continue to drive up. All right, that's why there is no certainty. There is never uncertainty with the news, in particular the CPI here, right? The dollar is already very weak though. You can take that in consideration. We're going to keep a very close eye on the dollar. But in regards to the book map, in regards to the heat map for the futures chart, you can see that all these orders are getting activated right now, or not activated, are getting set right now. 25.18, 25.20 on the futures chart, that is above the highs here. So that's roughly around this zone, right? So if price needs to come down, then they're going to take out the buy stops first. And what could happen is that you swipe up, take out the liquidity, and then reverse down, right? If that's the case, if that's the scenario, then of course, it's a gamble. It's just a gamble to take a trade from that level. The reason why is because if you want to really trade from that, you want to sell a limit order where these guys are setting their limit orders, right? Then they could stop you out and price could still tank towards the downside, all right? That's the kind of the understanding of what price could potentially do here. We are in that resistance. We have been hovering out there. The daily time frame looks pretty decent overall. We are in major resistance. If you are unable to break the highs, of course, price could potentially back down or drive back down towards the 24.50 as well here. So on the weekly time frame, it might be even more obvious to see that happening, right? Pushing up and then potentially pushing down. That's my thought process if the dollar indeed decides to bounce after it coming down the whole month already. All right. But if the CPI does come out lower than expected, similar to the British pound, all right, then there is a chance that the dollar just continues to drive down here. So regardless, I think it's a very risky bet to go into any position right now before the news. And the main reason is because of the fact that if you want to go for sells, you don't know where to put your stop loss, right? You put your stop loss in an all-time high, you get triggered, let's say, and then where are you going to put your stop loss? There's nothing to refer back to. There's no wick to put your stop loss above, and so on here. So even if they swipe the highs and go for that liquidity at 25.18 and 25.20, and they start pushing up in the futures market to drive price up, get into these levels and then reverse, I mean, you know, you don't know where to put your stops, right? That's kind of the thought process behind it. If price tanks, right, lucky you if you're in a sell right away. But the question is, where would you put your stop loss right now? Would you put it above the highs right here? Very tight stops. So unless you want to gamble it, you want to take the risk and just, you know, induce your stop loss above the highs or put your stop loss above the highs. I mean, do take consideration that a lot of other guys are doing the same thing. Okay. So there could be a trigger point in regards to that. But we'll have to wait and see here. Do take consideration that this is what I'm always looking for when the CPI comes out on a higher level. I want to make sure that I understand where most of these futures positions are built. A lot of orders are going to get canceled. You see this always happening before the news right now. We have around 2 minutes left. Always these orders are going to get canceled. And look at what not canceled. Right, these big orders right there, 25.18, 25.20, which is above or around the highs right there. Okay, do take that in consideration. So we're gonna wait and see this one. We're gonna sit this one out right here. We're gonna really pay very close attention to how price is moving and also how the dollar will respond right there. I'm very curious today, man. Very curious to see what will happen around the CPI here. But yeah, I would not be surprised if we push up to take out these highs, and maybe price just continues to drive up. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. But in this case, if price comes up and then comes down, then it wants to trigger maybe all that liquidity up before moving back down, if that's the idea, right? So manipulation on the side, big chance of manipulation on the side here, definitely. If it just comes down, it comes down, right? We'll see. We'll see how it goes. For everyone who's super certain about something, you don't know, right? Every CPI has been different. We have been backtesting the CPI for the last 5 years. There is a significant difference in every serious outcome here. We do know though, that when they want to induce price with the CPI, they lead people into the wrong direction. All right, let's go, G's. There we go. Price up first. Tapped into that zone. There we go. Took out these orders. You see that? Took out these orders right away. 25.20. Okay. 25.20 hit. 25.20 hit. That's at level. There we go. Is the question now, are we going to flip? Are we going to reverse it? What's the outcome here? Came out lower than expected. 2.9% there. So be very cautious. Very cautious with sells right there at this particular moment. Okay. Dollar coming down at this particular moment as well. Dollar is pushing down currently slightly, but gold, look at gold. Look at gold. Is gold going to make that move? Is it going to take out these orders and then flip bearish? Is this what's going to happen? Who knows? We're going to find out. But it definitely took out, or it definitely triggered these orders right there that were placed right there. You see that, guys? 25.20, 25.18 on the futures chart got triggered. The moment it got triggered, it gave an immediate response from that level. And look what's happening on the futures chart right here. Okay, look how price currently is rolling over right there. You can see it happening. This was not really a surprise here. It was not tradable for me because I don't know where to put my stop loss there to keep a pretty safe trade right here. It could have easily spiked through, but again, it's still a great confirmation right here. We came up around from the closure, still around 100 pips, right? Almost 100 pip moves right here. But look at how these orders were triggered and look at how price is moving down right now, specifically right there, right? Heat maps are critical when you look at the CPI, because what tends to happen a lot is that orders are getting executed And then 2 minutes before the news, most of these orders are gonna get canceled until these two lines that you saw right there, these lines were there, these lines were triggered. When news comes out, we're looking at an inducement, right? They want to induce price, get into these levels, get into that liquidity that's left over from these canceled orders to then reverse price. And this is what you've seen right now. Doesn't mean that gold is just going to come down from here. I'm not saying that, but I did say that price could potentially react from that and temporarily reverse to the downside to take out the buy stops, right? Because you have to understand that if these buy stops get triggered, these stop losses are going to get triggered. The question is, where are the most logical stops? They might be below, right? They might be at 24.68 or something in that matter. I would not be surprised that price steps into the 24.68 and then responds from it. Look at how gold is coming down right now at the moment. Look at how it's taking this out right now at the moment. A lot of sales or stop losses get triggered right now. A lot of stop losses will get triggered at this particular moment. Okay, so that's why you see a reaction. Now we're gonna find out. Now we're gonna see if this happened, and if it continues to drive down, it will be crazy because that will be extremely accurate based upon what we expected to happen. Pretty wild stuff here. Even though, right? Even though the news came out bad for the dollar, 2.9%. The core CPI came out relatively similar, so did the month over month, but that's nothing that special here. Dollar seems to be flipping bullish. Okay, that is very interesting right now at the moment. Dollar seems to be flipping bullish, and gold is indeed starting to push and break. There we go. Okay, this is definitely a move that we could have seen coming. Not a tradable move in regards to trade setup in particular, because yeah, where are you going to put your stop loss, you know, specifically on an all-time high here, right? Especially if you come up, you take out the highs, and then you know, it was unable to even break the highs, funny enough, but it was able to get these exact orders right there and flip bearish. Okay, simply type in the live book map on YouTube. You will find people streaming it all the time. Utilize it when the news comes out. Pretty straightforward. Okay, now it's about waiting. Now it's about looking for the right angles, closures, and so on here. But I hope you learned something in regards to gold and how gold tends to move around the data, right? Around the actual news in particular. It's hunting for these orders, and then its first goal and target is to take these orders out, to manipulate these orders. The only thing that you cannot know if these are sell limits or if these are buy stops. Most likely, fam, these are buy stops. Most likely, the majority of these orders are, in this case scenario, were buy stops in particular. Okay, there you go. There you go. Yeah, man. That's how it is, man. Indeed. Lorenzo, what about your GBP CAT trade? I saw you placing that order yesterday. We did, man. We said we're going to do a challenge, right? We said that I think I wanted to build up the credibility also. And there's nothing better than also getting some prop firm payouts. I think that's the best way to represent something to the community, because if I can do it, they can do it. Because I don't use any magic, right? I don't use any tools that they are not using. Therefore, it's important to mention that if that's the case. So yes, indeed. We got triggered, man. Last night we got triggered in that GBP CAT position. We talked about that position right here with our challenge as well on the side right now, right? Look at how beautifully we got tapped into that trade, right? If you look around the 1 hour, you can see how nice that reaction was. Beautiful tap into that level. We came up super aggressive. We tapped into that position, and we are now potentially setting up here, okay? When we start re-breaking of the lows, obviously we can start putting our stop loss on break even. We're trading this on a little bit more of a higher time frame. I think that's the easiest way to just pass this challenge in particular as well here. So yeah, that's that GBP CAT trade that we saw on stream yesterday. That was a really clean entry. Okay, our goal is to just, of course, pass that challenge, you know, with a significantly higher win rate, of course, as well. So yeah, that's the GBP CAT indeed. Looking forward to see how it goes. You need to give it time. It's kind of a set and forget approach in that manner. So that's also what we're teaching in the group. I'm leading towards that momentum with the community now. More set and forget approach strategies on the medium time frame as well here, right? Also pretty dope. So yes, sir. What do you think about the NASDAQ? Yeah, NASDAQ. Or hovering around here. Okay, I was looking at the swing POC as well at the 19,215. Same thing with the NASDAQ. You could see that, you know, we also triggered all these orders right there. We swiped everything from the top to the bottom, and look how it came towards the $19,000 right here. You see that? Was unable to break the $19,000. That's very interesting, right? It goes up, it cleans everything up, and then that target was way below the $19,000. You can see with the NASDAQ right now that was indeed the low that we were looking at, right? The $19,000 for the NASDAQ as well. So yeah, that's what news does, man. It goes to that liquidity, drives it. And yeah, let's see where gold closes this particular 30-minute candle in particular. Okay, there we go. Top Dog says shaking up weak buyers, as I mentioned earlier. Well, the data itself is looking pretty good in favor of gold. Obviously, that's the case. That's definitely the case here. Yet, you know, gold is still in that range now, right? Gold is still in that range. There's nothing really, there's not really something changing here. We're still hovering in that exact range. Why did you not take a sell at the top? Where would you put your stop loss? That's the main reason, right? Makes sense in an all-time high. Yeah. So yeah, you can anticipate the price. You can see how it went, and they came up. It took out the lows. It tapped into the lows. I think it took out a lot of these buy stops right now that were activated. Sell stops were activated where the buy stops got triggered, and potentially now we're I would not be surprised if we are going to go back towards the sell stops right now, right? Towards the highs again as well, right? We'll wait and see how that goes. But yeah, interesting stuff here. In regards to the currencies, dollar looking strong, Canadian dollar looking strong, New Zealand dollar looking very weak, British pound as well, Australian dollar as well, euro looks strong. Nothing really has changed that much after the CPI news. Yeah. What was the CPI announced? Did they lower the rates? They did they did not lower the rates yet. We know that next month. Next month we know if there's going to be a rate cut. You can go to investing.com if you want to go there /Fed rate monitor tool. Fed rate monitor tool. Yeah, there we go. Fed rate monitor tool. Boom. 5 weeks left. Ooh, 50-50. All right. A 50% chance. Think about that. Beforehand, we were sitting at around a 90% certainty we would decrease these interest rates. We would lower these interest rates, right? This is important data. This is important data for the dollar, all right? Look at the dollar moving up as well here. Look at how this came out now at a 50-50 chance here, right? The previous week probability was 65-35. Before that, it was like 85, right? 15. So we're now at a 50-50 chance here. Man, they're making it very, very difficult for us to understand if there is going to be a rate cut next month, right? Which could massively impact the markets. Wow. 50-50 now. Very interesting stuff. Yeah, look at gold. Look at gold. Wow, look at that shit. It's beautiful to see, right? How it's exactly triggering these positions. Price rolling over. Taking out the buy stops. Coming back up again. Triggering the sell stops. Taking out the weak sellers. And now pushing back down once again here. I would actually not be surprised if we close slightly in between once again here. Definitely. Yeah, man. Wow. Jonathan says, thank you, Lorenzo, for technique. When I have the accumulation in the market, that's good, bro. Real strategy. Thank you. Gold goes down, question mark. I mean, I sell. Looks pretty good for now, but be careful. Be careful. Samara says, gold will go down from here, won't break the top. Barson says, why does the CPI affect the Brent oil prices? Usually, this has to do with long-term rate cuts and interest rates as well here. So if the CPI, right, in particular, not the core CPI, but if the CPI, okay, the core CPI comes out higher or lower than expected, that's when, you know, you don't have to really worry about the oil prices. If this makes a big move here, oil tends to follow up later on. It tends to have a lagging effect with the rest of the market. Yeah, lower inflation usually, you know, reduces the oil price as well. That's kind of the correlation that you see. Lower inflation sometimes correlates with lower oil prices. Lorenzo, there is a value area high being respected from a previous range. Well, currently we are in one big massive range, right? We are still in that massive range right now. Not much has changed after the CPI besides just triggering the buy stops and reversing. Now we're hovering around here. The NASDAQ as well came down towards the 19,000. That's an interesting one, right? The fact that the NASDAQ came all the way down towards that exact point in the market at $19,000 and then decided to roll over and push back up right away. Okay, crazy stuff. But yeah, that's how you can utilize the futures data, right? You can look at where the orders are placed. Lorenzo, how are you going to manage your GBP CAT trade? Well, currently we have such a clean entry, right? We have such a clean entry above the highs right here that I would say the only thing that I'm thinking about is just seeing how we respond at the highs here. We might even swipe the highs. We wait for that next closure. We evaluate both of the baskets and we see if it makes sense to hold on into our position here. I'm happy that not really much has changed overall, but this is kind of the range I'm looking into, right? If you can start breaking and flipping that in particularly, we will see. But yeah, anyways, I think it's looks pretty solid from now, right? You have that clean entry above the highs already. So there is practically not much that can go wrong here for now, right? And if we come up, there are plenty of ways to manage your trade and to just, you know, start looking elsewhere, right? Start looking at, you know, management, stop loss, movements when we re-break the lows towards break even, or might even close it if you start really closing a 4-hour candle above it, something like that, but it's all minimal now. So yeah, not much to worry about anymore. That's the set and forget approach. Did you already take profits on the GBP CAT? I did not. I don't see a reason to with this approach right here, especially because we're trading on average on the 4-hour time frame. So I'm not really there yet. I'm not really that interested yet. I have a much bigger vision for this trade with the GBP in mind, the Canadian dollar in mind, and we'll see how it goes, right? If we hit a 1-to-1, a 1-to-2, we manage our position for sure. Yeah, but we keep our stops, our position running here. No need to take any profits out of the market now. Yeah. Where is your stop on GBP CAT? Well, my stop is a little bit further away above the highs right there, but it's not how I will manage the trade. If you do close above, I will close my trade manually. That's it. There's no need to, you know, stay in the trade for now if that's the case. But I think we're looking pretty weak, to be honest. I don't think we're gonna hold up very well. We're looking pretty weak. We are getting rejected once again here. It's just relatively volatile at the moment. You can see how volatile we are currently, right? We are pushing down. Our entry was above there. 5 lots on the GBP CAT. Now you see that price came down. It started to build. It came up. It got rejected there. It's now rolling over a little bit. At the same time, we know that the British pound is also in resistance. Okay. That's also important to take in consideration, which you can find on the baskets. We talked about the baskets before. We introduced the baskets yesterday, right? The British pound is in that resistance right now at the moment. It has a very, very hard time. And the Canadian dollar is actually holding up quite well. If you look at the Canadian dollar, you can see right now that we are actually holding up pretty well in that support right here. All right, so as long as the Canadian dollar stays above that support and the British pound stays in that resistance right here, okay, automatically the GBP CAT will be, we'll have a very hard time with breaking to the upside right there. Very hard time. Larby says, remember those news trades we were doing, like placing a sell or buy limit with the POC and all? Why are we not doing it these days? Because gold is trading at an all-time high. There is nothing to refer back to, right? Every single time when we took news trades, we had something on the left that could represent a setup, that could represent a structure, and that structure could represent, you know, an entry and a stop loss. Right now, we're trading at an all-time high. There is nothing to refer back to. That's why there is no need for a trade right there. Even though you are in that major resistance right there. If we are lower, right, and we're not in an all-time high, then I'm willing to take a trade. I like to trade news trades. I like to utilize this information. You know, I like to understand the bigger picture and take, you know, sell limits and buy limits specifically. We have done it many times before successfully. And, you know, we only lost once when trading news on stream this year. Right, at least from all the trades that got triggered, we actually lost once. We got break even a couple times and we won a couple as well. So, you know, it's more or less also a little bit for the entertainment factor. Let's be honest, it's also more or less an entertainment factor when it comes down to trading the news here. But when it's in an all-time high, there's nothing I can work with, at least for a pre-news trade. Okay. Hi Lorenzo, I just joined the LTA members and I want to thank you and the LTA team for creating this online trading environment. Amazing, man. I hope you're like, are you in the trading floor, my friend? Hope you're enjoying it. Shout out to the guys in the trading floor. Let's see what we have with us. I need to reconnect. Let me see. How many guys do we have in trading floor right now? Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys streaming. Damn. 7 guys are streaming in the trading floor right now. That is crazy. Around 100 people. I don't know why they're not popping up here, but around 100 G's. Yeah, but I appreciate the step up, man. I appreciate the work. This is what we want. We want to see guys stepping up their game. 7 guys streaming. I think that's a record. That is a record. That is a record. Yeah, absolutely. Fucking awesome, man. Cool stuff. Nizza says gold is neutral. Gold is very neutral. We're in the middle of the range. You think that gold has a good chance to hit all-time high this week? I mean, anything is possible, but do take in consideration that September is we're not in September yet, right? We're at the 13th or 14th of August now. The 14th of August. I mean, we have 2 weeks left, so sure we could. Sure we could. If the dollar loses its momentum, then gold might be pushing up again. It's holding it very well, even though the dollar is pushing quite aggressively now. Gold is holding up very well in the range. Anything is possible. However, do take in consideration that when you look at the seasonality, right? We showed it to you guys yesterday as well here. And you look at September, all right? The September months in particular, okay? And you take this to the to the last 10 years, right? 2013 to 2024, we are 91% bearish. We had one bullish month in 10 years time in September for gold. One bullish month, 10 years time. Of course, right now we have a different market condition, right? We have to take that in consideration from like a geopolitical standpoint. We have the elections coming up. So of course, we really have to take that in consideration. But at the same time, 91% bearish, right, on gold in the last 10 years. So every open and close, bearish. 4%, 6%, minus 1%, 3%, 3%. And the best month, wow, an astonishing 0.54%. That's gold in a nutshell in September. So, you know, the last 5 years, by the way, for August also have been relatively bad as well, from an open to a closing standpoint. But I'm just saying, it tends to roll over when it's July, it tends to push price up. And we've seen it this year as well, right? Came out bullish. Expectation was bearish, right? Came out bearish. Expectation was average, right? 50% chance. Came out bullish. 67% chance we're going to be bullish. We came out bullish. 50% chance we came out bullish. Bearish. Barely made it bullish, but we hovered around. We didn't do anything. And this one was wrong. We saw a 67% chance of bullish momentum. We came up bearish, right? That's not perfect, but you have to take that extreme in consideration, right? That's the seasonality factor. And this is over the last 10 years. All right, this is no joke, right? If you want to take this to the last 15 years, you can. It's a little bit lower, but it's still sitting at around a 73% right here. But we're talking 2012, 2011, sorry, 2010, 2009, right? That gold came up. And of course, what happened during that time period? We saw that crisis, right? We saw that crisis happening in the markets. Markets went down, 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 down. Gold went up. So we might see something similar happening soon. We don't know. We know that the economy is at a, you know, at a slide top here. So it's getting very tricky at the moment. But yeah, use this data, man. It's very interesting stuff to take a look at, in my opinion. Definitely look at it. Important stuff, man. So our idea is, and this is something that you could do, right? You could say, okay, if I'm a serious trader and I want to take this extremely serious, I really want to learn how gold is behaving, then you use this data, right? The seasonality indicator. You use this data, you understand the data, and you will backtest every August and September and every transition in August and September. Where were we trading? How were we trading in August? How did we close the month? How did we open September? And how did we roll over later on? Because we rolled over, right? Price came in some cases up, right? Some cases we came down. Most cases we came down along the way here. But over the last 5 years, August started the downtrend. It's not September, it's August that started the downtrend. September was the month where we followed up being bearish, right? So look at that, 0.42%, 0.02%, right? Minus 3%, minus 1.3%. Like all that stuff is key. We rolled over in September or continue to drive down. So it could be the top, geez. Could be the top, okay? It always goes down in September. I mean, it went down over the last 10 years, 91% in September. That's it. That's the data you have. It's like flipping a coin, knowing that most likely you're going to be right 90% of the time. That means that you're going to be wrong 10% of the time. Might be unlucky, but that's what the data is telling you. Of course, you should never just work with that data only. You should be utilizing multiple indications to make a decision, but it is important stuff. Yeah. Hey bro, what's up? Can you check my message when you have time? Yes, sir. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. Jaden says, Lorenzo, thank you so much for this live stream. God bless you, G. Thank you, Jaden. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. Yeah. Dollar chilling, hanging around here, not moving much. Okay. We are, yeah, we're pushing up. 30-minute candle is looking great. Is in that resistance for now. Is kind of getting rejected there. Is finding its support there. We're hovering in this range for the dollar, right? We want to see the dollar getting out of this range. And that closure for the dollar will give you, in my opinion, a pretty good understanding of what gold is going to do, because gold is doing the opposite of what the dollar is doing. You can see it clearly, right? Dollar is overall looking pretty good. If you just look at an inverted dollar, right, you reverse the scale, you see something similar on the gold chart, right? Very similar on the gold chart right now at the moment. So let's imagine we break out with the dollar here. Is there a chance of a breakthrough moment during the New York Open? Is that going to cause a dump? Or are we going to flip bearish and are we going to break down? Is this going to cause a pump? That's what you're going to find out with gold right here. For now, you're in a range, right? The dollar is indecisive. Gold is indecisive. The 10-year yield is looking slightly weaker as well, right? We have been coming down. We took out the highs. We're now potentially pushing down here. But I think the main focus for me today is going to be the dollar, all right? The dollar, the behavior of the dollar. Is the dollar going to break out? Is the dollar going to break down? And how does this affect gold? For now, inverted correlation. Lorenzo, why using a face filter? I appreciate this compliment, G. Lorenzo, your swing trades are based on swing profile or just price action? The volume profile on the higher time frame, right? The correlations and some fundamental data we've been working on. We're using fundamentals here as well. We started integrating the fundamentals. And a couple things that we use, okay? A couple things that we utilize in regards to the fundamentals as well here. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of what we're looking at. We can talk about it much later what we're doing, but it's the combination of fundamentals, medium time frame profile, volume profile, lower time frame levels, medium time frame levels, and executions. Can you explain the CUT indicator again, please? The CUT indicator. Yeah, so you have this indicator right now, okay? You can get it for free. What I'm going to create for you, trust me, we are deep into the development of a lot of different fundamental indicators right here. This is just one of them. This is the most basic one. You will see exactly what commercials are doing, large speculators are doing, retail traders are doing, right? If large speculators get extremely bullish, then you might think, oh, that's extremely bullish for gold, right? Wrong. A lot of hedge funds, a lot of big institutions, large speculators are on the wrong side. They tend to be on the wrong side a lot here. That's what the data has telling me based upon what I've been backtesting over and over again. Commercials is what drives the market. So when there is a big gap between the commercials and the large speculators, commercials are usually on the right end. Okay. Now retail traders are 70% bullish. If retail traders are 70% bullish on gold, is that a good or is that a bad sign? That means that the majority is bullish, and this is not the sentiment we're talking about. This is the actual positions in the market. This is the futures chart, the non-reportable positions that are declared by the commission. Okay, so you have the commercials, the non-commercials, and the non-reportables. The non-reportables is retail. Okay, so if retail is extremely bullish, then you have to be a little bit cautious. So if both large speculators and retail are extremely bullish, then and commercials are extremely bearish, then I'm always leaning more to the bearish side over time for gold. Always leaning more to the bearish side. And once again, does it align with the September seasonality? Does it align with August? It does. It does align. Okay. So do take that in consideration. Now, this indicator is something that you can use. It's very nice. What I'm building is the net change. So you see exactly what the difference is between the latest filing and between the current filing. What you can also do is you can make a screenshot. It takes you 1 second. And next week, when the new report automatically comes out on a Friday, you will have the new data. Once you have the new data, right, you can compare both. You can see if retail becomes more bullish, if commercial becomes more bearish, and you start back testing it. So how to get this indicator? It's free, right? It's called the Limitless LTA Concept COT indicator. Okay, you can get it for free as well if you join our Discord. And it's in the LTA indicator section. You click on the link right there. You go to COT data indicator. You click on it. And you add it to your favorites. Okay, you click on that thing, you remove it, or you add it to your favorites, and you will get that information right there. Works on all the futures charts, all the spot charts that you use, the CFD charts that you utilize. It should be good, right? It should be good to go. So yeah, we can go really deep how this actually works, but it's pretty interesting stuff, right? The moment retail becomes extremely bullish, you have to take caution because retail tends to be on the wrong side. We don't want to trade with retail too much. We want to trade against it, right? It's usually the better play, usually the better bet. So yeah, I'm pretty bearish on gold. That's my understanding for the next couple of months here, right? I can show you something else if you want to go really deep. If you really want to be a G, okay? If you are a G, type in a yes in the chat, okay? Only if you're a G, type in a yes in the chat, I'm a G. Okay, want to see some confidence here. All right, let's go over this next topic. While we're waiting for gold being in the range, of course, right? Let's talk about the fundamentals. Let's go deep into what we need to know. Okay, you are a G, I know you are. How you doing? Hey, okay, gold.org. All right, that's the website, the World Gold Council. I want you to check this information. All right, I want to take your trading to the next level. And yes, you can trade a breakout with me live. You can go and take an entry model 1. Beautiful. All right, all great stuff. Let's go a little bit deeper. All right, let's take things to the next level a little bit as well here. You now know for gold, right? Number 1, retail is extremely bullish. Large speculators are extremely bullish, and commercials are bearish. Commercials is the supply and demand. They drive supply and demand, right? This is what drives the market. 50% of gold is jewelry, it's commercial, right? It's you know, it's for production purposes, okay? Users and producers in that matter. Now, when you look at the historical demand and supply, you have every quarter, and what you need to do is you need to compare the quarters. That's it. You need to go to the latest quarters, and you need to go to, in this case, Q1 to Q2, okay? We've been talking about order blocks, right? Supply and demand on the higher time frame. That's great. I love supply and demand on the higher time frame. Works, right? Works. But this is the real supply and demand. This is what's happening in the back end. This is what's happening behind the scenes, okay? Jewelry fabrication, technology, investment, central banks, okay? That's what drives demand. Number 1, jewelry fabrication, technology, investments, central banks. That's what's driving demand, okay? The demand is lower than the previous quarter. Why? You can go deeper, you can download the whole report, you can see everything, the reasons behind it, okay? What happened here, right? Q1 to Q2. We're now in Q3, right? It always comes out 1 month after the quarter, okay? So it just got released. This file got released 2 weeks ago, okay? The end of July. Now it's gonna get, and now we're making that potential move here. Jewelry fabrication came down significantly, 130 tons. Technology went up slightly, 1 ton, nothing. All right, investments went up. So large speculators became more bullish. Okay, but look at this data. This is important stuff, the most important stuff. Okay, central banks, 299 tons, 183 tons. So central banks sold their gold. Central banks sold gold in Q1 to Q2, okay? They sold their gold, a shit ton of it, by the way, okay? That's important in regards to demand. So the demand is lower, all right? That is absolutely critical to know. Now, when it comes down to the supply factor, okay? This is the mine production, right? Gold is getting mined, right? the more it's getting mined, the higher the supply, the lower the prices, right? In that manner. Supply was at 859 tons. It came at 992 tons. So they mined more gold in that period of time when central banks sold more of their gold. Okay? Significantly more. So supply went up, demand came down. That's the difference between Q1 and Q2. Not looking good for gold from that standpoint right here. You know that retail is extremely bullish, commercials are bearish, and you know that the seasonality is in essence 91% bearish in September. That's the data, right? So then the question is market timing. How do I time this? How do I look for that perfect trade? How I'm going to take the trade? I'm going to take the trades on the 5-minute time frame and play, hard to gap with gold. Sure, you can do that. But what you can also do is to really try to time the market on the higher time frame if you want to get into that big swing, because that's potentially where you can get into, right? If you pay more attention to the bigger picture for gold in this specific example. All right. So that's why if price does decide to come down, let's say it does decide to break and it does eventually retrace and you give it enough time, I will be all in for sells. All in for sells, break, retest, and then a potential sell-off right here. Next to our day trading, next to what we do for fun as well for gold at the side, that's something that I would utilize, right? The market timing is one of the hardest moves. So if price starts to break and it starts to come up, you might actually have the top in your hands and you might be selling off from there. Okay, it doesn't matter if price starts to drop aggressively, price is gonna retrace at some point. That's when we position ourselves for a bigger move towards the downside, if that's the outcome right here. And you might think, yeah, gold's at an all-time high. Are there certainties that this will happen? No, but in terms of the confluences from a fundamental standpoint, that's incredibly important data to take into consideration, right? When people are thinking about the fundamentals, they tend to think about the economic data, right? They tend to think about the inflation data, which is important. They tend to think about the interest data, which is important. The GDP, it's all important. But what truly drives the fundamentals, right? What is the true fundamental? What truly drives the market? The real supply and demand and the speculation of big traders, right? Large speculators. That's what's driving the market. That's what's driving gold in particular, right? So I really want to give you that introduction into the bigger, larger fundamentals for the gold price potentially. Yeah, see what you want to do with it, okay? Up to you to decide what you want to do with that information. But yeah, man, big stuff. Dollar is pushing down a bit. All right, gold is holding that support. It's coming down. People get stressed. Sell, 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 sell. Price comes back up. Yes, you can get this indicator for free, my friend. It's in our Discord, man. So it's in the LTA indicator section. You can get it right there. That's it. That's it. We released it yesterday. Okay. We had around 500 people utilizing this. The net change will come, so it makes it easier for the eye. So you know exactly what has happened in the previous filing. And just watch how price responds to that. Okay. Yes, sir. Lorenzo, what's happening with your GBP cap position? Nothing, man. Nothing has changed, bro. Nothing has changed. We're creeping up a little bit. Yeah, nothing has changed, right? We tapped into our position. Now comes down. If price moves to the downside, jackpot, right? Jackpot. We want to pass this challenge on the side, of course. Yeah, dollar falling, gold holding up slightly here. We are, yeah, we're not looking that strong. We're not looking that weak. We're in the middle. Wait for the closure, man. I'm very curious to see where we close. Definitely not that strong whatsoever. Abdul is just unable to see the indicator in India. Are you on the gold chart? Try on the gold chart first. Try Awanda. Yo, Lorenzo, how much do you work a day off stream? I see you putting a lot of work to gather all the information. Yeah, man, I don't sleep. That's the reason. Yeah, in the weekend when we have no streams, I'm full on into creative mode. Building proprietary indicators. Yeah, man. No more fluffy shit. Lorenzo, can you explain how to use the book map? Yes, sure I can. The book map right now at the moment is looking like this. Ooh, look at these new orders, man. Look at these new orders. Everything vanished when the CPI came out 2 minutes before the CPI. Orders got closed. People were taking profits or whatever the case may be. Spoofing orders, you name it. Orders got closed. Happens all the time. We knew these levels were there at 25.20. It tapped into the 25.20. It came down. It tapped into the 2500. Right? This is your local support now. Okay? This is your local support. So what's happening now? Based upon what you see here on the right. Okay? A lot of orders are getting executed in the range. So they're building a shit ton of liquidity at this particular moment in the range. This is most likely all retail. Okay. You see sellers are stepping in, right? Price always drives towards these levels here. You have the 2500. You can watch and see how price responds out of that. There is also again at the 25.20. So at the top of the bottom of the range, there are a bunch of orders placed. And in the middle, guys are FOMOing in. That's what's happening now. Kamka says just one on the EU. It's in the LTA forum. Going to forward it to the LTA Wins. Shout out to you, man, Cam. Nice. Nice, congratulations. Yeah, let me check it out, man. Let me check out your win. A big shout out to everyone in the community here winning, of course, and just describing your wins as well. When you post a win, and I like what people are doing here, this is what I want to see, man. This is what you need to show. You can win a trade, right? And you can be proud of it, right? And you can just say, oh, look at me, look at how good I am. Because this is what everyone does. Look at how good I am trading, right? We don't really care about that. We care about value. We care about the explanation of your trade, your thought process behind the trade, right? About how you saw this approach, how you anticipated, and how it played out. Okay? Then we were like, fuck yeah, man. Good job. This is what's going to help the community. So, incredible. We want to see people explaining their thought process, and Cam, in this case, I see it as well. Completely fine, man. Keep it up, bro. That's what we like to see. All right, explanations of your trades, and yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Why is gold going down? Gold is moving down because the dollar is holding that support. Dollar is holding that support. Look at how it got bought up here on the 5 minute. You see it pushing up. And that's why gold has a very hard time, right? It's very negatively correlated with the dollar. So yeah, if you start seeing this breaking out and you come down and you retest this, then that might be a very nice confirmation here. Breakdown moment for gold as well. They're gonna get into the 2501 again on the futures chart. So 2501 is where we're gonna bounce potentially into. And then we will watch the response from there. But gold is still in that range, so is the dollar. Dollar is still in that range as well. Whereas, do you know if Vantage Next also have a BTC pair? Yes, they do. And yes, they have. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys are interested in taking a Vantage challenge and you want to take things to the next level right now, right? We always say start out with a smaller account right now. First, get familiar. Don't buy any prop firm challenge until you feel comfortable enough. Don't waste your money on prop firm challenges if you just, you know that you're not ready, right? If you know that you're not ready for it, you really need to take a professional approach if you want to pass a prop firm challenge. All right. If you do feel that you're ready, we are now together collaborating once again with Vantage Next. We did this 1 year ago. They have been massively increasing. They are now one of the biggest, right? After my Forex funds went down, right? Vantage Next stepped up. They did everything they had to do to stay on track, to make sure that everything they do is as transparent as possible. So Vantage Next, you can get an 8% discount by clicking on the link in the description. Okay, right there. You have to fill in the code limitless8 in order to get 8% off your Vantage Next challenge. Right? Shout out to Vantage Next. I think they're one of the biggest next to FTMO. So they've done a good job. Kevin says smart to start small and then scale up. Yes, exactly. This is the main reason why I'm even decided to do a challenge right now, right? Because I can, I can do almost 500 live trades on YouTube, like we have done over the past 2 years. But I never was really interested in the prop firm space until I made that realization that this is now the ultimate credibility. That's the reality. It's the ultimate credibility. So I decided to move into this space, pass the challenge, make sure that we can share that, get a payout, show that you do it, and then share the history of the trading. And also on stream, right? Yesterday we said we're going to enter a GBP CAT limit order at this and this level, 176.442. We got triggered, I believe, before the daily closure after that massive expansion. And then today we started to tank, right? We started to come down. Still holding that support, we're still pulling back very slow. I need to give it some time. All right, dollar is holding up very well. Shout out to the dollar. Beautiful, finally. And if says told ya, yeah, everyone knows exactly what's gonna happen beforehand. Everyone knows it. Alex says, in my opinion, we're gonna take the highs on gold. Very, very interesting. We did swipe the highs now and we are breaking down. So do take that in consideration. The dollar is starting to look stronger if you start closing above it. Yeah, remain bearish on gold for sure. if you start breaking out, dollar closes here. You have that resistance here for the dollar. If you can't break it, of course, gold will retrace. But if you do break it, gold will potentially remain there. Okay, so now we have a beautiful range. And I like to utilize this always when looking for trade setups. And that is the fixed value low and the fixed POC. And how often do we see this happening where you come down, you pull back, you get into the fixed value low or the fixed POC and you continue to sell off. Happens a lot. So triple top officially confirmed, especially if you start closing this hourly candle below the lows. That's very strong bearish confirmation. And yeah, there we go. We might setting it in here. It's the 14th of August, so we're 2 weeks into the week, into the month. So the timing couldn't actually be better, right? Super nice. What needs to happen for the GBP CAT trade? GBP CAT needs to, so the dollar needs to push up. Right? I want to see the dollar push up. Why? Because I don't think that will have a good, it will not have a good impact on the British pound. If the dollar comes up here and the British pound is in that resistance and the dollar starts pushing up, it's going to negatively affect the British pound. No doubt. Okay. So if that happens, then, yeah, there's a bigger chance that the British pound will come down and the Canadian dollar will follow the dollar. So, you know, it's only a good thing if the dollar starts pushing up for our trade there. Yeah, it's a very good thing. Cam, as you said in the second educational video of the LTA series, Wednesday and or Thursday is the reversal days of the week. Yeah, absolutely. But it's beautiful to see, guys, that you can see now that whenever it tapped into that level, you know, you saw these orders getting cleared, and the moment it came up, it swiped the highs and it indeed came down. So our forecast played out pretty well. There was just no trade that we could take before the news when you're in an all-time high. But it's still great to see that this forecast runs in your favor, because this could set, based upon all these other fundamental factors we talked about, this indeed could set the highs, right? And if you do come back up and we pull back, I think you're gonna find these great trades, great opportunities in the market. You just have to be very patient for it. That's what I'm aiming for, especially in summer times. I'm aiming for like the bigger trades, the bigger moves. But this hourly closure is gonna be absolutely critical. Same for futures, beautiful dollar, looking very nice, And with the dollar looking very nice, you can see that the Canadian dollar also automatically is holding up here, right? So if the dollar is holding up, usually tends to show that the Canadian dollar will also hold in that support and could also start driving up further. So that's why it's such a benefit for the dollar to be strong, because it just makes the chance lower that the British pound is just gonna you know, continue to drive here. At least it's gonna cause some friction, that's for sure. But yeah. Benjamin says, it's a good day. I've been expecting gold bearish action. For me, the confirmation was stepping into the highs. Tons of resistance. Took the trade 24.72. Downward to 24.53. ATP will look for a second entry. Nice. Congratulations. Mandarin says, August is always crazy. August and September are usually crazy months, yeah. Yeah, we can see what happens last year in September. So when did we start to reverse? So the 31st of August, look at that, right? This was the 31st of August. And we just came down ever since. We never set that high. This is what I mean. You set in that low, you set in that lower high, you have that build up zone, and you start tanking. You start coming down. And this was a move, yeah, a significant move to the downside. I'm not sure how much this is on the futures chart, but it's a lot. Okay, so immediately you started to come down and you start getting rejected in this zone, right? Instantly we saw that rejection and just that continuation to the downside in August. So the beginning of August we came down, mid-August we reversed, we set in the top, the local top, and then it was a moment of an aggressive push down. That was September in a nutshell, right? 2022, I think you're gonna see the same, something similar. Yeah, something similar. So August already came down. So you have August right there. It's actually very interesting. If you look at it, it's very similar, G's, to 2022 price action. Because you are coming up, right? Mid-August, look at that. The top was set on the 14th. The 15th, you started to come down. What's today? The 14th. You started to reverse right there until the end of September. You got rejected, you couldn't break resistance, you started to come down, and you went for the lowest right there. And practically until the end of September, gold started to drive down. So in this case, we had something similar happening, where you could see the dollar, or sorry, gold pushing up the first, quarter. This was August right there. We started to come up. Now we're in that point of resistance, and now, yeah, we have to see. Right now you can see that moment is getting set here. So very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. Looks like what we're seeing right now at the moment as well. Mid-August, reversal. September, extremely bearish. Could be nice, man. Could be good. It's a clear bias, right? Once you have your bias set and it's clear, it's set in stone, and it aligns with all your major fundamental indications, then your technicals is used to time the market, and that's it. Legend Story says September is bearish. September is definitely bearish, yeah. Type in seasonality in the indicator section, you will find something similar. We created our private indicator, but it's very similar. So Beeper says 4 hour looks interesting. 4 hour looks very interesting, man. Very interesting. Yeah, absolutely. Might be even coming down slightly more, would not be surprised. Yeah. So what's the number one rule? When retail becomes more and more bullish every single week, you should become more and more bearish every single week. That's why you look at the indicator right there. All right. It's completely free. Get it. We're gonna upgrade it. Once you start implementing this stuff, I think it's gonna help you tremendously, of course. No doubt. Says this looks like a flush. A retest would be a blessing. Yes, sir. Lorenzo, could you look at silver and give us your opinion? We can check out silver. Yeah, definitely. I use futures first, yeah. So we start with futures. Silver right now at the moment is, yeah, it's just the same as gold. It's the overall, it has been trending down right here, right? We are unable to break it. We are constantly getting rejected at a retracement as well. We like to sometimes use the data. Let's see what the data is telling us. If there's anything interesting to look at. There we go. Yes, swing value area low. Look at that. The swing value area low was the top. Swing very low as the top. Very weak as well. Very weak as well. I think that we are looking very similar to what we're seeing on gold. Just very similar. We have been creating that top right now at this particular moment. I think it will be very, very similar in regards to the seasonality as well. Yeah, very similar behavior. This on futures. You are in that range. You are holding up quite well. I think gold is definitely on the weaker side. But yeah, man, silver is definitely following up quite well here. Of course, gold's bearish. I remain bearish on silver as well. I just want to see the same expansion happening on silver, right? If silver is lagging, it will follow up potentially. You want to see that flush. You want to see that consolidation, that expansion, that retracement, the continuation. Yeah. So consolidation, expansion, retracement, continuation. Might be interesting. Has the dollar broken out yet? Nope. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Nope. Dollar is still in the range. Be right back, G's. Yo, Lorenzo, is Funded Next trustworthy with payouts? Yeah, so Funded Next right now has a payout guarantee. So if you just follow the rules, they have to pay you out. That's their number one, you know, their number one incentive is to pay people out, or objective is to pay people out. Even if it goes against their long-term, you know, strategy or whatever they have in mind. So do take that in consideration. You have to follow the rules. Be clear with the rules. Don't play around too much. Don't be too aggressive. Be conservative, man. Slow and steady is what wins the race in prop firms. That's my personal suggestion to you. Okay. And yeah, man, we have a bunch of guys, of course, passing challenges in our community right now at the moment. So that's super, super critical. And in regards to the payouts, a guy got paid $54,000. Okay. 54K. 2024 changed my life after blowing over 20 prop firm challenges. Finally able to secure a payout of $54,000. Shout out to the man, King of Kings. Yeah, man. So yeah, if you follow the rules and if you are not like a crazy degen and you're nice and studied, or I can't see it going wrong. Absolutely not. Another layer what you can do is you start out, right? You get your discount, you buy a small challenge, you click on it, you start testing it out first. If you're happy with how they run, then you start scaling. Maybe you can afford a 200K account, right? Maybe you can. I mean, maybe you can afford a 200K account easily, right? But that doesn't mean that you have to buy a 200K account, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to buy a $200,000 pop from challenge right away. Why not starting out smaller, right? At first, gain some trust, and once you're like content, you can always scale. You can always do the rest. I don't see the difference there. I think it's a long-term play, and you should go in the prop firm space with a long-term mindset as well, right? The prop trading industry has been actually a very professional industry before this became very popular, you know, on the internet. So, you know, treat it like a marathon, not like a sprint. Yeah, but look at that, man. You can get a 54,000 payout, and it changes your life forever. That's the prop firm game. So why not giving it time, right? Why does you have to pass it now? Why do you have to place a trade every single day? Why is it in your head that you have to now get it now, trade, do 6, 7, 8 trades a day? Like, why are you so driven to rush it? Okay, because I know how you think, man. You're rushing and failing, rushing and failing because it's exciting. Fuck that shit. All right, you can get a 54,000 payout like this guy if you're patient enough with building up. You know, patient enough with like building your skill set first. Treat it like a marathon, man, and trust me, what, you're gonna work for the rest of your life, or you're gonna just work on your skill set and just be patient, be conservative, and you know, work towards your first payout. And that first payout could change your life, not just, you know, materialistically, psychologically also, right? It creates a whole bunch of more abundance and perspective. Okay, if I can get this, then this $2,000 a month job that I have now, you know, is not really, you know what I mean? Not really gonna work out in the long term. So it creates a bunch of perspective, and you don't have to think about a 54,000 payout. Some guys get a $500 payout, and it makes a massive difference. What do you want to see? You want to see the dollar breaking out. You want to see the dollar not being in the range. This is what's happening now in the 50 minutes. Look at the dollar. The dollar is in a massive range. At this moment, you can see it's holding up the wicks, and now that's high. We were unable to break above it. And that's what makes gold retrace here. But I do believe that gold is going to tap into some critical levels now. How to find the fixed POC very low, very high. This is what we call a fixed range. A fixed range you will find on page number, I don't know. Download the ebook. It's in our description. It's free as well. A bunch of free stuff. People like things that are free. We like to give away some value. So page number, man, that I still don't know it. I created it. There we go. 38, the fixed profiles. Go to this one. Start looking at it. And you will know what I'm looking for right now. Right? This is what I'm looking for right now. This is what we're looking for right now. You see that? This is page number 42. Okay? The consolidation, the expansion, the retracement, the continuation. Okay? When you swipe the highs, it's even a higher probability. We did swipe the highs beforehand. Consolidation, expansion, retracement, continuation. Okay, consolidation, expansion. In this case, even manipulation, expansion. Now we're seeing and waiting for the retracement, right? And that retracement is potentially coming, and then that could lead in towards the continuation. That's the idea. Okay, so that's the process here. You can then start looking at an EM1 or an EM3, depending on how you look at the internals, right? The internal confirmations from there. This is the exact pattern that we're seeing and what we're looking for. And that would align if the dollar starts showing some more strength. So if the dollar starts breaking, then you might get an EM3 on gold here. If the dollar does not break, you have to be more patient. How's your outlook for GU? Bearish if the dollar breaks out. So if the dollar does break out, I'm bearish on GU because the British pound is in that resistance. And if the British pound is in that resistance, as you can see here, and we start rolling over because the dollar becomes stronger, obviously you're going to see GU dropping, right? But the dollar needs to break out first. The dollar is in that range. It's indecisive. It needs to make a decision. So if you look at GU, I haven't seen the chart, but I can guarantee you, yeah, okay. The dollar needs to come down first because this is not a guarantee that we are we're gonna come down from here, even though it looks very weak. This is kind of your consolidation. This is your retracement, right? You see that? The consolidation, the expansion, the retracement, and then that rejection there. And if you see that rollover, when the dollar increases in strength, yeah, you have your trade. You can start looking for the breakthrough moments. You can re-break the lows and look for an entry here. So that's your entry potential. If you want to play it safe, you can always look for an entry there to then continue to drive price further down, right? So the internals break, closure below, continuation to the downside, or the break of the lows, and then the continuation to the downside. And you have to zoom out, right? And the reason why is because if you zoom out on the 4 hour, look at the 4 hour chart. If you start flipping bearish, you have a major downside potential here. You can definitely look for continuation to the downside. So consolidation, expansion, retracement, continuation down. Dollar needs to break out to the upside. British pound needs to hold that resistance. The only way the British pound will hold that resistance is if the dollar breaks up. All right. What about GJ? Yeah, the thing about the yen is absolutely on a completely different ball game right now. The Japanese yen is absolutely doing nothing. So the yen is retired. After that expansion that we've seen from the yen, okay, right here, the massive move, we saw that move coming, by the way. you can now see that we are holding up. We're holding up in this zone, whatever it is, a resistance level, support level, and demand level. It doesn't really matter, right? You can see that rejection. We're holding that support. On the daily, you can see that this is now where we're holding. I mean, you know, I'm neutral on the yen right now at the moment. The reason why is I'm actually bearish, but the only problem is because we have been not setting in the top wick on a weekly time frame, there is a chance you're gonna break out to the upside first to set in that top wick. And if the top wick gets set, and then this today or tomorrow might be the moment for it to break to the upside. So, you know, it all depends. But for now, volume has been really low with the Japanese yen here. That implies a major break soon. And I would not be surprised if you come back up to set in the top wick. So I remain a little bit stronger on the yen in the short term, weaker in the medium term, medium long term still. Even though everyone is bullish now, I remain weak. But yeah, I would not be surprised if you do something like this and then break down later on after the top wick is set on the Japanese yen. So, you know, similar to the British pound, right? We talked about this. The only way for the British pound to be strong is if the dollar is weak. So you have to combine these factors. And then you think about GJ, okay? If the yen comes up and the dollar comes up with the yen, there's only one way for the Japanese for GJ, and that's down, right? And that's what you're seeing. You're building a shit ton of, you know, potential liquidity right now at this particular moment, okay? And that's what you're seeing. So yeah, you're now coming back. I don't know if you look here at the LTA concept session breaks. I think we're reaching that critical zone soon, right? The 189.781. So if you're seeing that tap in that reaction and the yen is still above that zone, yeah, you have to pay very close attention to downside. And then, you know, it's Thursday. What if you push back to the opening price of the week? Right there first, right? Which is then around. It's a massive move and I see a massive move coming. Just look at this. Look at what we're doing here. And you know what we're waiting for? We are waiting for this. The GDP Q2, all right? The GDP news for the Japanese yen. And the GDP for the British pound, by the way, which is tomorrow. Very important news tomorrow. So man, I'm very curious to see what will happen around here. But yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride for the British pound, that's for sure. Okay. Gold is there, yeah, gold is there, but as long as the dollar stays below and it's dropping in strength, there's no need for me to look for entries. Entries will come. It will be something like this if we truly are looking for that continuation play to the downside. So yeah. Where is that level? That's at 2461, right? 2462, sorry, 2462. Yeah, you can see that right there. On futures as well, it's futures is aligning. Definitely need to put it there just to, so I don't get, you know, confused. There we go. Okay. Guys, what's your current plan in gold? Well, this is my overall analysis here. I think we're gonna come up, we're gonna come down. I think this is what we're doing now. I think potentially we move up, then move down here. So yeah, that's my personal current analysis right now. I want to see the dollar, of course, holding that support. I want to see the dollar, you know, gaining that momentum as well. But yeah, this is what I'm looking for, man. Pullback, retracement. Similar to this in the ebook right here. All right, page number 42. The message go, great analysis up and down. Exactly, up, then down. Good analysis, right? Follow the trends is perfect. I was looking at the same analysis, potentially looking for buys at 2430 area. Which CT data should we look for the market trend, commercial data or non-commercial data? Commercial data is usually on the right side, but it depends. There are scenarios where it's not always the case. Okay, just wanted to highlight this. Not always the case. Okay, but you can observe it. If retail is against commercial, who do you think is right more often? That's the question you should ask yourself. Right? If retail is against commercials, if retail is 70% long, commercials are 70% short, what do you think is right more often? Commercials, right? Yeah, sir. Commercials. That's why. That's why. So yeah, look at it that, right? Look at it this way. Yeah. How can you get that indicator? You can get that indicator for free. It's in our Discord, man. It's in our Discord. LTA indicator section in our Discord. You can get it. We have a bunch of indicators there for you that could help you tremendously. Absolutely, bro. Do you think your British pound Canadian dollar will play out? I mean, like I said, it all depends on the dollar, man. If the dollar does its thing and it starts to come up, of course I think it will play out. If the dollar goes up, I'm very confident this trade will play out very well. Most definitely. Then I definitely would look for that continuation. The way we're struggling to push up as well, it has a very hard time breaking. All right, a very hard time breaking up. We just don't see that follow through. But on the other hand, we do have the GDP tomorrow for the British pound as well, right? So if you have the GDP, yeah, then of course we have to take that. We have to take that in consideration. It's super important. So yeah, we will manage our risk for sure before the GDP, because the CPI came out lower, right? Maybe this will have a positive impact on the GDP, right? And if the GDP comes out higher, then it's usually better for the British pound again. So anyways, to sum it up, the only way to confirm if the dollar is indeed, if this trade will play out, if the dollar increases in strength. That's it. Yeah. And what category are central banks? Supposedly China is on the bid in gold. Word on the street. I mean, we can you know, look at all the data to find this out here. Okay, we do have our own report already. The latest data we have is showing us that the United States, of course, has the majority of influence on the gold price. I think that China is actually number 9. China is actually not as big as you think it is in terms of gold, at least officially. Officially, right? We don't know with the back end numbers. Officially, China is not as big. Yeah. Funny enough, because you might think, oh, okay, China is like a huge factor, right, in the gold market. Well, maybe in the production, we saw the production coming down, right? We saw the production coming down in the last quarter. We just went over it already. But when it comes down to the hedge funds in particular, or sorry, central banks, my bad. My bad. Where is it? China is actually number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 6 in the ranking. Okay. Yeah, number 6 in the ranking, but we know for a fact that the producing went down. So that's pretty bearish for the demand. And the production. So the mining went up. So the overall mine production went up. So there is more supply, less demand. Central banks sold around 110 tons over the last quarter. So that's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's a lot. Funny enough, look who's second, man. Germany second. Italy the third. France is fourth. Russia's the wrong flag. Yeah, you're right. I don't know why that is. Thank you. Russia's 5th. China is 6th. India is 9th, I believe. Yeah. Netherlands is 10th. Crazy stuff. I didn't know this either at the beginning. Spencer says, yo, outside of trading, what do you do for fun? It's boring watching these charts. I'm in LA. Well, I'm in Bali, man. I'm in Bali. And yeah, man, you might think about the tropical rain, the tropical environment. Well, the only thing that we're seeing is charts, pools in the weekend maybe, and our boxing gym. Right, we have been sponsoring our own boxing gym right now. So we have the Limitless Training Academy. We will have the Limitless Gym, the Limitless Boxing Club, Lions MMA X Limitless Boxing Club. Shout out to that. So yeah, we are investing in our own gym. We're sponsoring 4 fighters now, 4 professional fighters with our academy. So a lot more content is coming. And we'll talk about it, all right? But yeah, it is coming. It's coming. Limitless on the wall. It's gonna be sick. Okay. Limitless on the ring. It's gonna be sick. Right there. So yeah, we're working on some really cool stuff, and we're sponsoring the fighters. So we're gonna make a lot of content for the fighters as well, with Limitless included. So LTA, baby. Limitless Training Academy, but also LTA Limitless, the brand Limitless. We're gonna take our step up here. We're gonna, sponsor our favorite fighters in Bali, in this case. Yeah, man, a lot of stuff is coming. That's why once we reach the 100,000 subs, we're gonna post some serious content on our channel, man. Streaming is nice, but the only way is up, right? The only way is up. So much more to show you guys. So much more to show you guys. So much more to share. Yeah, and you know, we love Indonesia, by the way. I'm a big fan of Indonesia. I'm a big fan of the country. I'm a big fan of the culture. The people here in Bali are like the nicest people I've ever met in my life. They're the most humble guys out there. You know, sponsoring these guys is life-changing for them. Life-changing. So that's the way to give back here in the group, in the country itself, right? Sponsoring the best local fighters, professional fighters. When is your own fight, Lorenzo? I think next month. I think the end of September is where we're looking into. October, sorry, October. Beginning of, yeah, October. October. Huge shout out to you and your team, Lorenzo. That's really big. It's awesome, man. It's bro, it's one of the best things that we can do right now, right? Step up our game. Yeah, we're doing a lot of things behind the scenes now as well. It's really time to take things to the next level. Absolutely take things to the next level. If you really want to change people's lives, we need to innovate constantly. And that's what we have been doing. So yeah, it's crucial. Absolutely crucial. You know what the thing is? Everyone has their plans and ideas at the beginning of the year. And then, you know, suddenly it's March. You think, oh, it's super early. And then out of nowhere, what is it? It's July, August. There we go. Heading into Q4 of 2024. Okay? It's time to change some shit. It's time to change your shit up too, right? It's time to step up your game. If you made plans for yourself to become the person you want to be, then this is the moment, G. You can sit here in the morning, right? Play with your little Lulu. Or you wake up strong. You save your energy. You project it into the universe, you know, with some precision and focus. That's also another way to do it. I mean, it's up to you, man. Time to step up your game, G. That's it. I'm stepping on my game with our team. We're creating the results with our community. This is what we're doing. What are you doing? What is your plan? You're going to sit here on a 5-minute time frame, buy and sell, or are you going to do things properly, actually start making some fucking money? Okay? The rest says, don't attack my Lulu. I would never. I would never. Beat the meat. That's a good one. Very nice, very sharp. Very sharp. When do we start the funded next challenge? We already started it, G. We already started it. We started a funded next and an NFT mode challenge. Okay, our goal is to get this thing funded for you guys to show some real credibility. It's important for me as well personally to get here now. right? We realized, or I realized how important it is to show these payouts. Well, then we have to do it. Then we show these payouts. That's it, right? Then we just make it happen. So, you know, we're doing it. We're getting these payouts from FTMO for Funded Next. We are doing this, of course, in the live trading floor. We're taking trades in the trading floor all the time. We're always discussing the best setups in the trading floor all the time as well here. This is our VIP group. $200 a year, which is 70 cents a day. Everyone is streaming. Everyone is trading there all day long. All right, 100 guys now currently actively trading all day long, talking setups, sharing setups. I realized how much value it is if you cannot trade, if you trade by yourself and if you trade with a whole group of talking, discussing stuff. But the most important thing is the biggest rule in trading is that everyone is trading the same strategy. Everyone is utilizing the same approach to the market, because if one person trades LTA and the other one trades ICT and the other guy trades whatever the case may be, it's going to become a mess and it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So everyone trades the same. You can always have different variants, right? But the fundamentals, the framework should be as similar as possible. So that's the approach. And everyone is extremely aligned right now. That's what matters. That's what we like to see. If everyone is aligned, we're all good here. Okay? We are good here. Yeah. Has gold tapped into the fixed very low? Not for me. Not for me yet, number one. But yeah, I'm aiming for bearish momentum, man. Like this pullback and this retracement, I aim for further continuation to the downside. That's definite. Absolutely. How can I pay for the VIP? You can click on the link right here. You can go to the vip.ltaconcepts.ai. All right. You can go there. You can click on the link. And you can scroll down, answer all your questions right there. Okay. We have, of course, our whole series. We have all our payouts and our firms aligned with this. We have our full lecture series. And of course, once you pass the test, we can talk about the test. You can join our training floor. You can join our training floor regardless. We want you to first go through the series. That will be the ideal case scenario. This prevents people from trading different. And that's why we're seeing the results now, because we're seeing the alignment. Okay. Super important that this is happening, that we're all aligned and that we're all on the same page before moving further. Right? Critical. We created a test as well. We like to create some interactivity right now. Okay, we have different rules. People can get the rules. The foundations right here. You have these different rules. You start as an apprentice. You become a graduate after the first test has been completed. You need to have 90% correct. 90%. Then you can get a next rule, the graduate. Then you do another test, the Spartan, right? We have a lot of Spartans now in our group. Mike is a Spartan, for example. He gets a Spartan rule. It will pop up next to his name. It gives him access to do a bunch more stuff in the near future. We have a hierarchy, right? The only way to build leaders and to build a great community is by creating a hierarchy. And we need a solid foundation and a clear direction for you. If you join, we want you to have a clear direction first. We want to make sure that you know exactly what to do step by step in order to get somewhere. And a test is an interactive way of showing us that you actually went to the series, you went to the course, you actually did your homework. And once you have the rule and you're in the trading floor, it becomes very nice to see that you understand exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, it's kind of like it's a little bit more academic, right? We want to make sure that you at least have a plan of action. And that's why I would never just sell a course and that's it. That doesn't make any sense. You know why it doesn't make any sense? Because if you cannot apply directly what you learn, it's bullshit. So the only way to really benefit from it is you getting in, buying access to the community, go through the series, 7 hours. That's the foundation. Then I'll do my weekly events, or I come up with my weekly outlook. I share my videos every single week, you know, where I place or create a video, come up with a weekly outlook. You can look through it as well. I use a bunch of fundamental data as well. And then you apply it in the trading floor. There is no other way to do it, in my opinion. I don't get guys that just sell a course and that's it. It's selling a course or selling a series to then apply it directly together in the group. That's it. That's what matters. Fanny says, I joined on Tuesday and working my way through the content, prepping for the test on a Monday. Nice, G. Amazing. Amazing. Euro USD is good for buying, waiting for a nice position. It depends on the dollar, man. If the dollar starts breaking out of this range, I do think there is more chance of continuation to the upside. Okay. So if the dollar does not break out and it starts breaking down, you might be right. Okay. But this is where you have to pay attention to the dollar index breaking up or breaking down for confirmation. Okay. Euro is looking very strong. Not gonna lie. Euro is looking very good. So, yeah, if the dollar decides to roll over and the euro starts continuing its momentum, you're going to find fantastic long setups for sure. I agree. David says BTC is tanking 5% already today. Okay. That's interesting. That's no surprise, by the way. We talked about Bitcoin reaching the top. Where is it? I think it's right there. I think it was showing that exact over the last 10 years. Yeah, last 5 years or 10 years. I think it's the last. Yeah, exactly. So we have a seasonality forecaster tool. So for example, it can forecast based upon the average of what I showed you with the seasonality. And look how accurate it is, right? Look at this bottom. Crazy stuff. I think the 10-year was even more crazy. Let me see if the 10-year is there. I think it's only 5 years. Yeah, futures, always futures, of course. So yeah, no, it's indeed 5 years. So it sat in the top, the top around this range, started to pull back. It indeed started to come down. This was also a bottom right here. This was also a top right here. This was also a bottom right here. This was also a top right here. Now the approach or the understanding of the seasonality is that we should be tanking towards, funny enough, around the 45k, which makes a lot of sense actually if you look at it from multiple angles. So we still might be bearish here. Early buyers stepping in, now getting rejected on the daily time frame. I still think that we might be indeed continuing its momentum to the downside, man. Same with gold. If gold comes down, Might be very interesting. So yeah, that's the seasonality forecast. We're creating this as well. We have a bunch of other tools, fundamental tools we're creating right now. Extremely accurate, scary accurate. And this proves to me that, you know, the market is just very seasonal. It's very seasonal. It's very repetitive. And it's really, really time to time the market. Look at July, right? This is the seasonality indicator of the yen futures. It said it would top out in June. It would bottom out in July. That was the bottom. It would top out in August. That was the top. It says it's going to come down potentially. Right, we're now potentially looking for further downside as well. We saw the top here in March, 8th of March. We saw the top. And for the people to think that this was all projected already, no, this is, you know, a projection. We can increase it up to 100 days, okay? 100 trading days, not days, trading days. That's the idea. So yeah, it's all seasonal. And so is gold. Gold is also very seasonal. All right, we'll see. Otherwise, where can I find that indicator? Couldn't find in Discord. It's not released yet to public. This is some serious stuff. What do you think about GBP NZD? GBP is in resistance now. It's not there yet fully, to be honest. The British pound is holding up very well. NZD is very weak, man. Very, very, very weak. NZD is absolutely getting crushed. Yeah, Australian dollar is slowing down as well. So if the Australian dollar is slowing down, you know, pay very close attention to the New Zealand dollar. Usually there is somewhat of a correlation there, not always. Australian dollar is getting rejected. So is the New Zealand dollar. And if the British pound is in at resistance, then the British pound has to break through. So a GBP NZD long might not be the best solution, because if the British pound also comes down, then it's down versus down, right? So you want to trade down against neutral or down against strong. So weak against strong or weak against neutral, not weak against weak. So that's what I'm trying to avoid. Big Boy Fish said, longer gold stays in this range, the harder trading gold becomes. It's holding up. It's holding up for sure. It's getting in that W formation now. The dollar is still not there yet. So if the dollar does not break out to the upside, I don't see any reason to enter gold. Why? Because this is what's driving gold now. If the dollar would now break down, then the dollar would definitely push gold up, right? If the dollar would break up, the dollar would definitely push gold down. The correlation is accurate now, today, especially after the news. So yeah, you don't want to get in gold shorts if the dollar remains weak, right? This becomes a setup we cannot take. If the dollar breaks out, it's pretty straightforward. Lorenzo, what is that winning trade that you showed before? That's the GBP CAT. We actually showed this one yesterday on stream. We talked about it as well. We had our limit order set. Yeah, this was the trade. Now I remember it. This was yesterday. We talked about this one on stream as well here. That was the trade, right? Sell limit 176.442, sorry. Price was coming up aggressively towards that zone. We knew that we would potentially get into the daily closure when we get into our position. And that's usually when you want to enter, because, you know, after the day is done, that might set in the top as well, right? So that's why we were talking about the GBP CAT, and we tapped into that zone. You can see it perfectly. And yeah, so far so good, right? Alex says gold will keep climbing in my opinion. Careful, I already stated 24.50 as buying levels. Well, if the dollar indeed stays weak, then yeah, for sure, it's not worth to take a short indeed. Absolutely. But yeah, just keep a close eye on the 24.61. On the 15-minute 24.62, sorry. Pay very close attention. 24.62, 24.66. Lorenzo, when is your next giveaway? I think our next giveaway will be a funded next prop firm challenge, all right? If you guys are interested in that, press in a yes. I'm interested in a funded next prop firm challenge. We will give away a prop firm challenge, not today, tomorrow, okay? So if you want to potentially get a chance of winning a challenge here, tomorrow's the date. Tomorrow we can do something fun here on a beautiful Thursday giveaway day, okay? So we're gonna give away a prop firm challenge. What do you need to do already in order to join that challenge giveaway? Okay. Well, number one, you need to follow your boy on IG. We have been launching our new Instagram, right? 2 months ago, we started fresh. So follow your boy on IG, number one. Okay, we're building up the influencer game. We're gonna release so much content later. And secondary, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to this channel right now. So much more stuff coming along. We're reaching 100,000 subscribers. At the 100,000 subscribers, we're going to do something truly special, something truly remarkable, something unique. You know, we always coming from the right angles, right? We're always doing things a little bit differently here. So very important to subscribe and then join tomorrow's giveaway. All right. Shout out to Funded Next. Why is the gold price different on the live book to trading view? Because it's futures. If you want to look at the book map, you always need to look at the futures price, right? So the futures ticker for you is GC1, okay? Just look at it, GC1, all right? Look at it, GC1, you will find it right there. So yeah, dollar is indeed coming down. Gold is hanging around a little bit here, okay? So like I said before, if the dollar starts breaking out, then gold might flip. If you re-break the lows, same thing. Okay, the dollar needs to push up here and show some strength for gold to potentially push down. Do I remain bearish? Based upon this confirmation, I do think that we see more bearish momentum. We have been extremely bullish with retail. Commercials are extremely short. I talked about all this data. I talked about the seasonality, how it could make a lot of sense for mid-August to reverse down as well. So yes, I do see more downside potentially. It's all about market timing right now, right? That's kind of the idea. Gold is hanging about a little bit. But yes, I am leaning more towards the downside. Am I going to be 100% right? No. But, you know, you understand, and if you were here at the beginning of the stream, you know exactly how many strong confluences you need to take in consideration. And, you know, the fundamental data is a good tool to have. It's a good tool to have. Do you look at vector candles sometimes? Of course, you always want to look at vector candles, big vector candles, big imbalances in the market. Have you tried using the volume tool using the range from the previous quarter? Of course. Previous quarter, previous year. It all depends. Yeah, critical. We utilize time. And this is actually a very good point, Alex. We're utilizing this as well in our next ebook. So yeah, there are definitely things coming along here as well. Most definitely. BTC prediction. Bearish and then bullish. First bearish, then bullish. I'm still looking at $43,000 for Bitcoin. 43K. Yep. 43K. Then after that, we can start talking. Doesn't mean I'm not buying. I'm buying all the time. I'm buying a lot of Bitcoin all the time. We're stacking our bags. Not just Bitcoin, by the way. Not just Bitcoin. Lorenzo, any tips on how to trade oil? What are its correlations? These are good questions, my friend. I like that. I like people asking questions about the economy and stuff. Yes, so you want to look at the Canadian dollar, right? If the Canadian dollar is strong, okay, it's going to benefit you in the long run with oil, right? Oil and the Canadian dollar are extremely correlated with each other. For a fact, check out the Canadian dollar futures chart on the weekly time frame. This is the Canadian dollar futures chart right here. And then put on next to that, look at the oil chart right there on the weekly time frame. Okay. There we go. What do you see? You tell me, what do you see right there? Okay, let's clean it up. Canadian dollar futures chart, oil. Okay. What do you see there? Well, obviously you see it, right? Canadian dollar and oil are extremely correlated. This is the Canadian dollar futures chart. If the Canadian dollar futures chart is potentially bullish, oil will be as well. Now the Canadian dollar futures chart is in this weekly demand, the weekly support. We have never been breaking. We couldn't break it. This is that low that created a higher high. We have been tapping into this zone multiple times here. If the Canadian dollar starts to drive, oil could potentially follow. Okay, oil is looking very, very good based upon what we have been seeing as well over the last coming days, weeks, and so on and so on. I'm also very bullish on the Canadian dollar from a fundamental standpoint. Everyone is extremely bearish, and because they're extremely bearish, I become more bullish. So that's how we can look at it from that standpoint. So yeah, Canadian dollar and oil are extremely correlated. If you want to trade oil, trade the Canadian dollar. And then your next step, if you want to take things to the next level, is the following. You want to look at the energy commodity sector, and you want to start comparing all the energy commodities with each other. And that is natural gas, heating oil, and gasoline. And if you understand where they are, And if they're all reaching that demand or that support at the same time, you know it's time to go. If one of them is lacking, you need to wait. You need to wait for heating oil to get to that same level, for example, to then take your position. All right, so that helps you with the timing of the market. And if your timing is correct and your fundamentals are aligning, you're going to make some money. So yes, you look at the rest of the market. Where is natural gas against oil? How do they align? Are they overvalued or undervalued against each other? And then you can start trading it. So that's more of my macro explanation of how you can look at oil from like a technical standpoint. Good question, Tristan. I like that. Keep it up, man. Can you please explain how future gold map helps look at price on gold spot? Well, futures and gold are correlated, right? That's pretty obvious. You can see that the gold chart itself is looking the same as the futures chart. The only difference is that there are sometimes tiny differences in structure. Okay, but overall it's relatively similar. For example, in this case, this high was not the same as this high. This high came out higher than, you know, this high, but overall for the rest, pretty similar. Okay, same thing happened in futures. So what you want to look at, you want to see what's happening in terms of orders. You look at these orders. Where are most of these orders placed? You have to understand that the market drives on liquidity, and especially in a range, when the market is driving on liquidity, okay, you know that the liquidity will be utilized as a magnet. It's kind of a magnet, right? It pulls into that level. So let's say you are here, right? What tends to happen a lot is that price creates a massive buy order below, a massive buy limit at 24.80. I'll just say something, right? The moment it starts coming, what you tend to see is that the book map starts to pull price towards that zone. I'm not saying it's going to break it or it's going to bounce from it. I don't know. But we have to look at other things. What I'm saying is, it's the moment you see these big orders getting placed and there is not much happening here, there's a big chance that price drives to that order. So your intention is to start looking at these big orders. Where are these big orders placed and how you can utilize this to start understanding if it makes sense to get into that direction in the first place. And if that makes sense, you know why price is pulling back towards maybe the 24.82 on futures, right? That's an example. If price comes down, then that's a potential level to look into. Okay, the 24.82, and you see it, right? You saw that line, you see price is pulling back into it, and now you see that gold is starting to come down right here, right? So you had that consolidation, that expansion, and now that continuation potentially. The dollar is still holding that support. It's very weak, by the way, but it is holding that support. Okay, so that's the way to look at it. All right, and the way to utilize the book map. That's how you can do it. How do you find it? Try type it in on YouTube, man. That's my suggestion. Just type it in on YouTube. Live book map. Okay. Play with it a bit. Play with it a bit. Search as I like how people started realizing that correlations are a complete game changer once you get it. It is most definitely a game changer. Okay, most definitely. Yeah. Does the conflict between Iran and Israel affect the gold price? Of course it does. However, there is no need to focus too much on it. You know what the problem is? It scares people away from being bearish. And what tends to happen when that happens? When retail becomes extremely bullish, because in their head, yeah, Iran is going to attack Israel, or this and this is going to happen. Retail becomes more bullish. What do the other guys do? They pull price around. That's it. They turn price around and it's done. Oh, that makes sense. So I'm not blinded on news and geopolitical situations because I cannot control that. And I do believe that a lot of guys are so bullish because, oh yeah, I ran this and that. So in their head, there is only one thing driving the markets. And that's not the case. There's so many things driving gold. You have to understand, it's a $13 trillion market cap. There are so many things happening. Anonymous says, have you worked at CTA or where did you learn all that stuff? Passion, my friend. Passion. Passion. What if I place buy all the time and go for 1 to 2? If I win half of them, I may profit. I mean, you could, but where we tried. Tried. Yeah. Yeah, tried. Absolutely. Lewis, what do you think we have with gold? Like, I'm pretty bearish overall, right? We talked about all the fundamental drivers. I'm pretty bearish. I think you're going to find a tremendous amount of shorting opportunities here. You know, if price pulls into this zone, like it came up and it starts to drop, fantastic. You know, that continuation is what you want to see. You want to see price breaking down, retesting, continue its momentum, and potentially setting in a new trend. There are no more drivers this week that I think that are absolutely critical. Next week as well. Nothing in particular that I think is absolutely critical for gold to take into consideration. So it's pretty straightforward for me after this move and the daily closure, what we might be looking out for. Okay, as long as the daily closure remains bearish, I'm all in for it. Right now, you're still testing this daily support, which is sitting at around 24.48. So you need to be aware of it. If you close below it, it's game over for gold. Game over. Yeah. Lorenzo, can correlations provide early warning signs of potential market reversals? Yes, that's how we're doing it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is price coming back to previous weekly open to give us a bullish reaction? It might be coming back to the Sunday open first. Previous weekly open is not that far away. I agree with you. It's a 20.42. It might be, it could. But I would pay very close attention to these entry models. We have entry model 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 is bounce, break. Re-break is shorting it. Continuation is shorting and looking for new setups in the market. Okay. For now, you're still finding support. Okay. And the reason why you're finding this support is because you are bouncing off of the daily time frame. Okay. The daily time frame is this high. This high is critical, right? We've seen it there. We've seen it there. We are now bouncing for the first time after that break, you know, tapping into support right there. So what do you really want to see? In my opinion, I want to see a really good pullback, an actual tap, not just a wick. I want to see multiple candles around this level, 24.62. I want to see weakness, right? Closures, rejection candles, wicks, top wicks, and then I want to aim for a pullback, gathering more liquidity to drive back down. That's what I want to see for gold to push further potentially to the downside right here. Okay, it's absolutely critical that we come up and then re-break the lows. If you then re-break the lows, done. All right, that's the idea. Pew says my capital was $5,000 and I lost $500 in one trade. Is that all right, or should I lower my risk? 10% per trade. I don't know what your strategy is, what time frame you're trading, what your win rate is overall. If you can give me these answers to my questions, then I can give you an answer. What is your win rate? How many trades have you journaled? What is the time frame you're trading in? And how many trades do you take per day? Is there any correlation between gold and Australian dollar? Yes, definitely. There is definitely a correlation between gold and Australian dollar, but it really varies. It's not as effective as it is this year, particularly. So do take that in consideration. But yeah, definitely keep a close eye on the correlation. You can use this tool, by the way, if you guys don't know. It's called the correlation coefficient. You can click on that. So correlation coefficient. You click on this, you type in Australian dollar. So you want to have the Australian dollar futures chart. There we go. Yes, extremely correlated. Yeah, 0.71 right now on the 30 minute. On the daily, I think it's slightly lower. 0.21, it's still in the upper range. Usually it's in the upper range. You see that? Usually you're between 0 and 1. If you're in 1, you're extremely correlated. Extremely correlated. If you are at 0, you're still positively correlated. If you're negative, you're negatively correlated. You're almost never negatively correlated. You're mostly positive correlated. So right now on the daily, you're relatively positively correlated. On the 4 hour, it is pretty correlated. Yes, 0.64. Anything above 0.5 is an extreme. Okay, 0.5 to 1 is an extreme. So yes, you can say the Australian dollar is correlated to gold. All right, so use this tool, correlation coefficient. Check it out on the daily, the 4 hour, and the 1 hour. And look back in history. All right, so tomorrow, guys, giveaway time. All right, I hope you guys learned something today. I had to take off in a second here. All right, very important stuff for gold in particularly. We did what we wanted to see, right? Swiping the highs and reversing back down. We talked about the orders. It was a very interesting one at the beginning of the stream where price tapped into these orders. It reversed, it came down, it started to break. It created a lower low. Are we going to see lower high? We are at daily support. We need to see that closure below. Think about this not just in the short term, think about this in the medium to long term as well. I gave you all the reasons why I think gold is bearish, why you could look for potential continuation plays to the downside as well. So you're gonna find really decent opportunities in decent pullbacks, okay? For the G's, I hope you learned something today because we dropped a lot of bombs today. A lot of bombs today. A lot of things that they think are critical for your development as a trader as well. But the guys that are serious, that are knowing what we're talking about, man, this is our plan now to step up your game as well. What I'm looking for, nice pullback into that zone or a daily closure below. I think we're going to look for massive continuations down. In regards to our pop firm update, we are still hanging around right now with our trade right now. We will see how this goes. If we pull back down, we should be at like 5 to 6% profit. Then we're almost already there. We need one more trade, I think, to take one more win to pass this challenge. All right. If you want to join me, with me, you want to be with us, get into the VIP, get into the trading floor. Okay, by buying the VIP, right there, click on the link vip.ltaconcepts.ai. Get a challenge or come to tomorrow's stream where we're gonna give away a free challenge. Okay, you might be with me, trading with me, passing the challenge right now. Okay, we're talking about the trading floor, we're talking about the challenge. We might be passing it together. If you win the giveaway, that would be awesome. Okay, let's make it happen. Let's get it done. You know what we're looking for. You know what we have been doing. Overall price played out very nicely. No news trade this time. No news trade whatever in this case, because of the fact that when we were in all-time high, there was nothing really to pull our stop loss above. There was no reason for price. It could easily, swipe us out and reverse down here. But still, the awareness is what matters and the understanding is what matters. And the way it tapped into the orders, perfection. Okay. When do you trade news? Only when price is not in an all-time high. When there is something to look back to in the previous range. Right there. Okay? Shout out to you guys here. Keep it up. Keep it up. If you're going to be here tomorrow, let me know. Type in yes, I am committed. The giveaway time. funded accounts, maybe some access to our group as well. All right. We need some more guys in the trading floor. We need to step up our game there. We need you guys, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people streaming currently. We're gonna head into the trading floor after the stream. Okay. Man, love you guys, man. Take care. And yeah, I want to drop some bombs. I want to make sure that you guys are stepping up. We're gonna get some sick information. All right, some things that I could share that I never shared before that I could share now. So it's time to do that, man. Let's make it happen, bros. Sounds like a plan to me. All right. See you tomorrow or see you in the trading floor. All right. Looking forward to see you there. Take care. Make some money. Stay safe. Get funded. And change your life around, G's. Ciao.